everybody, my name is Tom and this is Ma. Yeah, I'm here. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about what is Livantan, an enormous animal. Okay, so let's gonna talk about Livantan. Over the years, the ocean was an enormous ocean with tons of animals, but today it just became as a different desert. But over there, our scientists have once found an enormous apex predator. A predator so fearsome that unlike megalodon, an enormous shark that ruled the world, it even killed whales. It even killed whales and megalodon. But what was it? Well, it was nothing more than the giant Livantan melon, the apex predator of the ocean. Yes, but it was still a sperm whale, and this sperm whale was also the size of our cousin sperm whale like today. But this sperm whale is a little bit larger than it, measuring from 43 to 90 to 19 to 59 meters larger. But from 43 to 9 to 59 meters large, only a little bit larger than our own small sperm whale. But Livantan didn't have the size to stun and make it even terrifying. The deadliest part was its big, massive teeth. Yes, unlike today's sperm whale, who suck in food by striking it and then begin to chew it down, Livantan haven't even attacked by trying to attack and gobble their prey. Its massive teeth, some of them could grow to a foot long and 4 inches wide, with an enormous skull could eventually shred it. Instead of chewing and then swallowing it shred. Scientists believe that they eventually feed on baleen whales, which has been even a larger about 12 million years ago. But this giant apex predator is still deadlier. It was large, rich in fat and energy, which is the perfect fuel to make it deadly and hunt by the whales. But like other extinct animals that we know today, it has some other mysteries that scientists didn't know. Yes, like their own cousin. Livantan has an enormous structure inside of its body, which has puzzled scientists for years. Yes, that's because sperm whales use it for deep diving, echolocation, and even battling around during fights. But since Livantan don't use it for deep diving and search for squid, could it has used it to stun down a prey, or it may even use it to eat and kill up, or it has been used in males to potential mates. Yes, that's because since we don't know which one is a female, which one is a male, we cannot describe which one is real. But the story of Livantan, what all I talk, is real. Because it's not a myth, it's a legend. Yes, that's because fossil hunters has once found the enormous bones of the teeth of it. But since there is no skull to connect, the animal remains a mystery. But then until scientists begin to do this and find an enormous skull in the Hesperial Desert, which has once remained as an ocean, being done by Olivia, which is eventually been done to look for gold. Or maybe they have looked for fossil. And after the last day of encountering it, the first taking of the enormous Livantan skull was then lifted into the air, congratulated by the world, and connecting to the teeth of it. The Livantan story remains a legend, not a myth. So this is all for today. So goodbye, everybody. See you next time. Goodbye.